And action. I thought you paused.
No, you can't pause it.
That's what it looked like. And
I'm
action.
just sharing it. I don't know the way to share it. I don't know what I'm doing.
Hi, people. What are you guys doing? We're chilling on a Sunday. Glad the Cowboys lost. Really upset my Giants lost. We didn't really lose. We got massacred, but whatever.
I don't understand why people hate the Cowboys so much anyway.
It's not the Cowboys, it's their fans.
I don't know why people hate their fans so much. You're supposed to be enthusiastic about your team, so I'm confused of the hate that people have for Dallas Cowboy fans. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, because they're unrealistic.
It sounds like a bunch of haters.
What you can't again. You know what? That's the topic.
Y'all just sound like a bunch of haters because I don't understand. Like, what do they fans ever do to you or anyone else that hate them so much? Like, if you're a fan, you're supposed to be a diehard fan. They're actually acting like fans should act.
Are they?
Yeah, because the rest of y'all, I don't know what y'all be doing.
So you can't think you're better than everybody else in the league every damn year, and you ain't won.
Well, you're supposed to think you're better.
Not when you can't win.
You are supposed to think you're better.
When you
so they supposed to think. Well, they supposed to go around thinking like we suck. That's dumb. Who does that? They tell you that as an individual, you're supposed to think you're the shit. Like, why would you walk around thinking that you're not the shit? So basically, they supposed to walk around thinking like our team sucks.
No.
Why would they do that?
You don't think that anyway. After 30 years of winning, of not winning nothing, every year we gonna win the championship, but you can't even beat quality teams.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Why can't they be enthusiasts about their team?
Because you have to be realistic. Like
you don't have to be real. Who said that? Like, who determined that you have to be realistic? Like, who died and made y'all king and queens of what can be realistic about fandom?
I'm glad the Cowboys lost.
I'm just confused. How y'all figure y'all can tell Dallas they're not even my team. I don't care for them. It's still my team. But my thing is, I'm amazed. I'm always in awe.
What did you say? Okay, so what did you say
at Dallas?
What did you say?
I just don't understand it.
What did you say? What did you say when your team had an opportunity to make the playoffs? What you say?
I don't know.
You said, "Oh, I don't care. Why are we gonna make it? We ain't gonna do nothing." That would have been the Dallas Cowboy fans. Oh, we going to the championship.
But they supposed to have an attitude.
No, you don't. Not when you suck.
They are supposed to. I don't get it.
That's like when we played the Giants. I knew it wasn't no way in heck we was gonna beat the Eagles.
Okay, so I was hoping. So if you were when you was in school and you were playing basketball, somebody told you suck. You supposed to walk around and be thinking like I suck, or you supposed to think like, oh, I can do this.
If you suck, you suck. They would have never told me I suck.
You don't know that. Plenty of people said you suck. Somebody said you didn't even play when you was a senior.
That never played with me, other than the 2 times. Mm-hmm. He also said I didn't score X, Y, Z amount of points. And then they posted
that mean
Jermaine's
supposed to walk around saying that he sucked?
Anyway,
I'm just saying. So that doesn't make sense.
Makes plenty of sense.
No, it doesn't.
All right. You're being hypocritical because you just did the same thing with your team.
I'm not. I'm saying people should. I'm saying, regardless of how a person cheers on their team, they can be mad at their team, or they can say my team is not going to make it, or they can say my team's going to make it every year, even though the team's garbage. And people shouldn't hate on them for that. That just doesn't make sense. Sound like y'all a bunch of haters.
All right, start the conversation. You gotta hate.
Namely him. He's a Dallas Cowboy hater. I guess I'm confused.
Could you tell me what I'm hating on?
Tell me. I guess maybe you hating on that
they suck.
I don't know.
That's what I'm hating on. Because when you hate on something, it has to be because it's good and it's something that.
I think you're hating on the fact that you're hating on the fact that their fans are so enthusiastic. That's haterdom. Because otherwise, it shouldn't even matter to you.
Okay. We just wasted.
Like I see more people going off on Dallas Cowboy fans than I see Dallas Cowboy fans commenting. Like I see more people talking about, oh, here come them Dallas Cowboy fans than I see the fans actually commenting, posting. Like y'all be the main ones posting, and then the fans will come on y'all post. But most of the time, y'all the ones posting. The fans don't be saying anything, and they the ones be on the post, like posting, making whole posts. Fans ain't paying y'all not one attention.
All right. Keep on.
And y'all making whole posts on y'all page.
Like somebody getting abused over and over and over and over until they get tired of it. We as football fans got tired of the Dallas Cowboys saying blah, 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 blah for 20 plus years and ain't done nothing. Can't beat nobody.
They obviously can beat somebody, otherwise they wouldn't have played today.
How did that work?
And then they beat you too.
Yeah, and what did they? They beat us twice, and guess where they at? They did the same thing we did. Won one game and lost in the second round. So what am I hating on? What is it to hate on? They know better than us, and they ain't won a championship in 30 years.
Enthusiasm. Oh, yeah. Apparently.
To the subject at hand.
I don't know. I just don't understand somebody does that. I don't care. If somebody wants to think they're great, I'm gonna let them think they're great. It's not hurting me for them to think they're great.
Ain't hurting me neither.
Think you're great. If you think you're the best team in the world, think that. Keep thinking that. You got the best team. Okay. I'll support you in believing in your team that much. I'm not gonna hate on you for it.
After the first 3 plays, I knew we was done with in the Giants game. So I wasn't hurt. I was happy we made it till we have it. I wasn't sitting there like I told you when we was up there. That's how some of them people was talking about. We going to the Super Bowl. All right, let's not get carried away.
Well, they can say that if they want to. They manifesting. Jeez. And they probably be successful to have all you naysayers.
Well, how that worked out
negative against them.
How that worked out for the Dallas fans because they've been manifesting for 30 years and they ain't happened.
They got all these negative forces like y'all. What they need to start doing is speaking against y'all.
They always do. Oh, we beat y'all. Okay, well, you supposed to beat us. You got a better team than us.
Anyway, we're gonna talk about these subjects. So I'm kind of tired today, and for some reason, even though we say we're gonna be consistent, who's supposed to be my partner felt like he didn't need to try to figure out anything of significance to talk about because I don't even know who's gonna do it, even though that's what we continually talk about all the time is consistency. So I'm confused by that one, but I do have some topics to talk about since he couldn't come up with anything.
I came up with something. She said she didn't want to do it.
Yeah, because that was way too spur of the moment, and we can't even come up with questions at that last minute. Okay, come on. What's the question there? No, go ahead and talk. Ask me a question since you have plenty of questions.
What is my favorite destination?
What?
What is my favorite vacation? What do you think my favorite vacation is that we took?
Probably a cruise.
Forgot about that one, but yeah, you're right.
So see, that's what I'm saying. Okay, what's your next question?
Well, you're supposed to ask one. But what are we doing it for?
No, you ask. Go ahead, ask the question. Okay, so what's my favorite question for vacation here?
Well, I would say Miami.
See, you don't even know me. I want a divorce.
What the hell? Well, into this chapter. Next week. She'll be here with somebody else. You know how y'all women do. Anyway, get to this.
That's more y'all men.
Whatever.
All right. So anyway, one of these groups they asked why women are so over sexualized in today's society. Why are women over sexualized? Which is interesting that question is still being asked because I would think people would know why, especially with what's going on in the media, what goes on in mainly the media, and then how society, including some of these institutions like churches and everything else, what they claim women roles are as far as sexual behavior within the confines of marriages and everything else. So it's funny that this question is being still asked, but it also goes to show that women are still being over sexualized. And I had already saw this topic earlier, and then you happen to be listening to that thing. I don't know who that girl was that was saying women shouldn't withhold sex from her husband and all this stuff. So I guess we're supposed to be some type of just sex engines that give whenever a man asks for it, because apparently that's all we have to offer. But then on top of that, so you have religious people spewing that, um, and talking about within the conference, completely misquoting the Bible again, and and saying that that's women's duty. And but then you also have men who are consistently and continually perpetuating it. So you have men that are right now today perpetuating it, and most of them are perpetuating it because they're like, oh, it's the status quo. So this is the double standard that exists, and no one is trying to combat that, which is very interesting. Mainly, it's the men who could change it, and they're not even trying to change it. Then on top of that, you still have all these artists that are still out there making songs with women doing everything sexually imaginable.
Well, what about the women that's making the songs?
That's what I'm saying. The women. You have the female artists. I'm sorry, it's female artists that are doing that. And the thing is funny. It's funny how women are portrayed as being people who are supposed to be able, or who are supposed to do everything sexually imaginable, right? But you can't portray a man like that, because I dare you to portray a man in a video kissing on another dude and having threesomes with dudes and everything else, and then saying that he's not gay. No man is going to do that. But for some reason, women are pushed to do that. Men applaud it. Other females are applauding it. Women are pushed to be okay with being in these poly relationships and everything else. Men aren't. They're not pushed in that direction. So it's the women that are continually pushed and pressured into believing that they're supposed to be anything and everything sexually to a man. Everything he desire, his heart desire, all these fantasies that a man want to have with regards to sex. That's what the woman's role is, I suppose, is what society keeps pushing upon us. So what a question that somebody asked with regards to the oversexualization, somebody actually posted an article about it and talked about all the things I just said, but somebody else said, they didn't ask the question. They said, fellas who boast about running trains back in the day, did you date those women? Did you respect those women afterwards? Are these the same types of women y'all refer to as hoes and undesirable for relationships? Why did you take part in reducing her value? And what does your participation say about you?
Well, as someone that used to be a choo-choo conductor, uh, I'll say this: I definitely didn't respect them. Well, the moment she said that we can do it, I lost respect for her. No, I didn't. Wouldn't have dated any of them, and yes, they are the ones that we consider as.
Wait. The moment she said you can do it, or the moment you asked her?
The moment she gave into us.
The moment you asked her.
Well,
do you have respect for a woman that you asked her to?
No.
Okay, then. So you didn't have respect for her to begin with.
But guess why I didn't have respect for her? And this is me being a disrespectful a male whore myself. Then the reason I didn't have respect for her because of the situation, the circumstances I met her in, and how she was dressed and how she was acting. So that's the reason I didn't have respect for her. Same thing, like, to give you a parallel, how I told you I didn't come at you crazy, how I was talking to everybody else in those groups, but I didn't come at you like that because of how you carried yourself. Those the people that, a couple times that I did that, it was because one of them had a reputation. The other one, we was just talking, playing, and she gave into it. So at that point, I didn't have no respect for her. And again, it was because how she carried herself and the way she was acting. Now, that goes back to the question: why are women oversexualized? I think it's more because males are. I would say, like I always say, males are sexually immature. Like everybody. We said this 1,000 times from a man perspective. Most of the times when you meet a woman, it's not she could be, not to call anybody ugly, but she could be the ugliest woman in the world. We ain't gonna look and be like, oh, she look like she's a great friend. Most of the time when we see women, you may turn out to be a great friend, but it's an attraction there for whatever reason when we first initially meet you. Now, if we're in like an office setting or a church setting, and we're talking that way because we have to talk or something like that. That may be a more of an organic friendship that can start. But for the most part, men look at women and it's like, oh, she bad, or oh, she got a big whatever. And at that point, I don't know how it got to that stage. I can't answer that, but that's the reason, in modern day society, I believe it is like it is, because for whatever reason, men and women, or in the family households, it's not being taught that, hey, as a man, you should respect a woman like this, or hey, as a woman, I think I'll say it's 70-30, mostly men. Uh, and I'm pretty sure you can go back to the scripture and find something about that. But so in some households, women are not taught to respect themselves either. So my motto from back then: if you're not going to respect you, why should I respect you? That's from back then. I said from back then. So I don't know. I don't know why. I think it's more of. I think it starts at an earlier age. Uh, of and I used to didn't think it had a lot to do with what was on TV and was in rap music and all of this, and even the R&B music. I really, because I don't think that played a part in the things that I was doing. I just was dumb, didn't know any better, didn't think about all of those extra things because I wasn't taught that. I was around my friends, and she got a big butt. We go try to holler at her. We think she's pretty. We go try to do whatever and try to get it as quick as possible. So I don't know why.
How do you feel about that? Do you feel like you helped to reduce some of the value in women?
Yeah, I did. I do, because at the end of the day, I could have, even if I wouldn't even brought the conversation up or came at anybody like that, then it probably wouldn't have happened. So because you don't respect yourself doesn't mean I should disrespect you. That's how I feel now. So I could have been the one to be like, hey, why you want to do that, man? Da 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 da, and maybe we changed. So I don't know. I want to say because of like I said, the circumstances, how people was raised. I don't know. It's a good question. But that is how those are the ones we look at as hoes. Ain't nobody gonna look at you and say you a hoe unless they just mad at you and trying to hurt your feelings.
Yeah, that's true. But then how does that play a role in again, like marriages today, in relationships?
It plays a role. It plays a role because the perception is distorted. It distorts the images of women. Like if it's just like the outfits you was talking about you want to wear. If somebody regularly see you out in the street with that on, don't know anything about you, they probably gonna think, oh, she want to do this, or she easy, or she's da 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 this, right? So it plays a role in the marriages because I think it makes people, well, while we're talking about men, I think it puts us on edge, because the first thing that somebody would say if you want to wear some tights, it's like I even say it about certain women that go work out. Like, y'all put that on and pull it up in your coochie and all in your butt for a reason, right? So when that happens and you go into a marriage, we start thinking you're doing that for attention, or we don't want our wives to look like hoes, and then it becomes like a little bit controlling, actually, or it can become a little bit controlling. No, you can't wear this, or no, you can't wear that. So
okay, and then further, what about the men who think they wives supposed to just please them sexually anytime they want some? Doesn't that contribute to the same thing? Isn't that part of the same thing?
Interesting. I don't know how to answer that, but I'll say this. Uh, I think we use that, or men use that. Um, I think men use that to for future collateral, just in case they cheat. Um, so they're, oh well, you wasn't doing this or you wasn't doing that, and to try to make y'all feel bad. Uh, because if they cheat, then that's what they can say. Well, you wasn't giving it to me. Then what I supposed to do? Like, that's the dumbest shit in the world to me. You don't feel like doing this. You don't feel like doing it. Like, you're supposed to love your partner more than a piece of butt anyway. So
well, I don't know. I think some men actually believe that though.
Well, that
That's
goes.
why they feel like you can't rape your wife and all this stuff because they believe that they supposed to be able to get sex whenever they want to.
Well, then that goes. It also goes into a controlling aspect. Like the men that think like that, anybody think like that is it's kind of controlling. You definitely can. I used. To, oh, I wasn't. Well, I guess if you don't know, you don't know. But I used to think like that too. Not really trying to rape my wife, but I didn't think you could rape your wife either. Um, but what I do find funny is how people take scripture and make it to their to what fits their situation and their lifestyle. I find that funny, and that may be the reason too, because just like the other people, when they say a sin is a sin and da 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 da, right? So you take that same thing, they take that what God said in the Bible about love everybody and try to make it fit that situation. Yes, He does want everybody to love everybody, right? But whatever the scripture is about your wife being your wife, and because I remember we read that the
Mm-hmm.
dude had put that in there or something like that, and it was like you can just clearly look at that and like people interpreting it to make it fit their situation. So, yep, don't know.
So yeah, women are definitely continually over sexualized, and I think again that is primarily the responsibility of it's a responsibility of women too, but I think a lot of that falls on men too to stop looking at women in that way. Because again, just because someone doesn't understand that they should respect themselves doesn't mean that you
Yep,
can't respect them
I
as a
agree to that.
person.
I
So
agree to that.
you could actually be helping someone by showing them respect where they lack that respect, or
Yeah,
showing them
because
they're worthy where they lack that
it could have
knowledge.
been they could have been doing that their whole life. Matter of fact, I had somebody tell me this, not about running the train, but you get trains ran on your whole life, but then you run into that one individual or the two individuals or that one individual, however the situation is set up, and they're like, you know what? No, I'm not about to do that. I was interested in you. For you, like, why would you want me to do that with you? Like, da 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 da, whatever positive conversation you can have with them, and that may at that moment you may have blessed them, and that could change their mind. Like, wow, so I don't have to do this or whatever. So just because they was willing to disrespect themselves, like you said, you don't have, or a man doesn't have to disrespect. Like, now I can't say that I've always thought like that because I was like, well, like I said, I was like, if you don't respect yourself, why should I? So
Yeah, but I think also it starts with us teaching our young boys to respect women too, because they learn that from home. A lot of that they learn from home, and again they learn from social media and from uh, TV and everything else. But as parents, we can also teach our young males to respect women.
agreed.
All right, so then the next one I saw that was interesting was someone was saying they've been married for 3 years and they've gained some weight and their husband doesn't like it. And the husband actually told them that he's not going to be sexually active with them until she lose weight. And she says she's working on losing weight. She's gradually losing weight, but of course that doesn't happen overnight. And she feels that in the process, a connection can be lost. And this kind of ties into the over sexualization of women too, because it's like I think that if a woman said that to her husband, he would be not only highly offended, but like you were saying before, use that excuse to go out and start cheating on her. Whereas this woman is saying like her fears that there's going to be connection lost, and I'm thinking to myself, damn, a connection. Your husband actually just told you that he's not going to be sexually active with you because you've gained some weight, and even though you're trying to lose weight, he's like trying to punish you for that. Like I don't know how you can call that love, and I don't even know why you would entertain even staying with someone like that.
I don't really have nothing to say on that. I agree. I've told her plenty of times I don't care how big she gets or how small she gets. If she want to get the size of that pole over there, uh, then I'm gonna be happy with it. My preference is my preference, but that ain't make me go out here and want another woman and this, that, and the third. My preference is my wife being happy with whatever goals that she has for herself. So if you you know, want to be 500 pounds, then you 50 pounds over what I say I wouldn't divorce you for, but I'd probably leave you at 500. But 450, I'm all right. Joking. But yeah, you don't. I don't know. You can't put a weight limit on love if that's what you really married the person for. And I would like to know if she had kids, because for a lot of women, what I've seen that maybe I just seen somebody say that too, go through postpartum and they can't get it off because they don't have the energy to go, or just so down and don't want to go. Those are the times you're supposed to be uplifting her. But yet you telling her she's big. You want her to lose weight. And also I'd like to know what the dude look like, because I'm pretty sure he ain't walking around here with no 6-pack and muscles every dang on well. So what if she told him that?
And the thing is, women go through a lot of things, not just postpartum, but menopause. And like studies show that a lot of women who start going through menopause or premenopause gain weight just because of a hormone factor. Like in some women, I don't care what they do, they can starve themselves and they continually gain weight simply because of hormones. So how you going? I don't understand what people are basing these marriages and stuff off of nowadays. Because if you're basing it off of love, I mean, your physical attraction shouldn't come just from outward appearances. I mean, what if that person got into some type of horrific accident? You gonna say you're gonna walk away from them because they don't look the same? I mean, I'm confused
right.
on the foundation that many people are building these marriages on, um, and I don't think they are building them on the right foundation.
That's like you and I when we had that conversation about the greatest sex ever or the greatest sex partner ever, right? And we went back and forth for like an hour about that. Uh, if you're totally in love with someone, uh, and like you said, and I've heard other women say it as well, that you got blinders on. That person is all you see, right? So if you're 400 pounds and whatever the case may be, my blinders is you're all I'm going to see anyway. Uh, and when I say all I see, I'm not just talking about with my eyes physically. I'm talking about my heart, my emotions, my body, and everything. So I should be wanting to encourage you to, hey, try that, versus criticizing you. Yeah, she may be trying to lose weight, but then what are you doing to help her lose weight as well? Um, Meaning, because if it means that much to you, then maybe your ass should be, giving her tips or going to work out with her, or getting up walking with her or whatever. So it's like those blinders. It goes back to the providing as well. That how people use the word provide all the time, and then they don't really understand the meaning of that. So you have to provide for her in that manner of encouragement and self-esteem, because what I do know is a man can break a woman down. I ain't gonna say I know, but I believe a man can break a woman down emotionally quicker than a woman can a man emotional. And you saying stuff like that to your wife is just gonna hurt her feelings, period. So if you really want her to lose the weight, you encourage her, you push her, all that other stuff. I didn't push her to lose weight. I was telling nigga to eat. I wanted a big. I wanted what him because ham hocks them booty. Never mind. So yeah, I didn't encourage her to lose weight. Uh, but like I tell her, I tell her I'm proud of her all the time. She set herself a goal, and she accomplished the goal, and now she wants to look like that pole over there. Y'all see that pole? She wants to look like that right there. She wants to be that little. So that's what I'm gonna have for a wife. And that's probably see the thing up there? Over there, where is that? Where it's at, Harry, right there. Her head probably gonna be like that too. But anyway, that's it's kind of rude. It's really very, very rude.
Yeah, and then speaking of blinders, I mean, to be honest, I didn't know that even from the time we met to before we started working out. I didn't realize. He said he didn't either. I didn't realize how much weight we had gained. Like I knew I gained weight, but like I wasn't looking at him saying, "Oh my God, you look like he put on 20 more pounds."
That's a great example.
Like I didn't notice that, and I didn't notice that until I started losing weight.
Yeah.
And then I started looking at pictures, and I was like, "Oh wow, we were big on that picture."
Like, yo, a wedding picture, my back was like as wide as the beach. Like, and then I'm looking at, we got a picture. Thank you, Honey Boots, if you ever see this. That she made for us. I guess was it for a wedding picture, anniversary?
It was our engagement. It was our engagement present.
All right, of a picture that we had took when we was in Vegas, and at her was your niece?
My cousin.
Her cousin's wedding, and we dressed nice. We looked like our outfits. They coordinate together. They look good. Like we look like a good couple, but we just big. And that's when that's actually when I really realized how big I was. But I had something else happen to me that I didn't know. And it's crazy how you don't notice that, right? We were somewhere with my homeboy and his girl, and somebody came on one of his pictures and was like, JB, I didn't even know that was you. Because I had gained so much weight, but she didn't never tell me I gained weight. I never told her she gained weight. I still to this day, what's crazy is I still to this day think obviously she's way smaller, but I still can't see her no different, if that makes any sense to you, Zoran. Like, I don't see you any different. Like, yes, I noticed that you lost the weight, but even as big as we were, you still the same beauty to me. You're still as pretty to me. You're still as sexy. I'm still just as much attracted to you as then. So like, I didn't really pay that no attention. So I don't know, man. Some of these people are weird.
Yeah, definitely is. That's very interesting. And then that ties into the main topic that I was talking about for today. And it's interesting because women are historically the ones who always push for marriage, and who wants the ring. But they did a study, and I think it wasn't even a whole year ago, that showed that of all the divorces that are initiated, 70% of the divorces are initiated by women. And so then they're trying to find out, like, why are women initiating divorce? Like, if women are the ones pressing for marriage, why are they then filing for divorce at a much higher rate than men? I mean, it's like 70% is a lot, y'all.
And child support.
No, that ain't what. But so they did a study to look at this, right? What they found was that there are a few things. Women feel more stifled by marriage than men do. And the reason for this is because of gender equality. So according to the study, gender equality within a marriage has been slow to catch up. Like, you know how we always talk gender equality in society, but within a marriage, there's still these gender role ideals when it comes to a man and a woman. So women are working outside the home. And even though men are helping some more than they were back in the day, I mean, it's not Leave It to Beaver days, but the women are still carrying the bulk of the child rearing, the housework, the keeping everything organized, and a lot of times they're even doing stuff with the bills and everything else. So women are still carrying the bulk of that in addition to working. Yep. So women are feeling stifled, like they're getting burnt out, literally, within their marriages.
And you know what? Sidebar real quick. That's crazy how I don't know if we were intentional, but how that all ties into what we started off talking about. Because you think about that, and it goes right back what you just say about paying paying the bills or doing the bills, however it's being paid or whatever, working, taking care of the kids, and then, you know, with, I guess, certain men or some men still doing the gender roles, like you said. They want you to cook, clean.
Yep.
They want their meal. Like,
they want you to perform sexually.
And that's how I was getting ready to go to. They want you to cook, clean, and then after you get through cleaning, and then they want you to go wash your ass, and then come in there and do all the nasty stuff to them. Like, it's crazy. So all we do is sit there and drink a beer, watch basketball or football, and say, "Hey, baby, come do this, that, and the third to me after you give me my plate."
Mm-hmm.
Not all men, but I think that's that definitely goes for our gender. I'll say I don't know the percentage on that, but it's pretty high.
And I used to think that I was only one that, well, not the only one, but there were not a lot of women that felt like I do as far as asking for stuff and asking for help around the house, or even saying, "Hey, I'm tired." But from what I'm gathering, there's a lot more women that don't feel like that they have quote unquote right to ask the man to chip in, or when they do, the man there are some men that actually say,
I
"Oh,
know
they're
what you're getting.
nagging,"
Yep, that's what I was getting
and
ready
it's
to say.
like so women don't want that that stigma of
Well,
being a
but you
nagger
know where that
because
comes
then the
from?
man goes out and I'm not happy at home because my wife is nagging, but dang, she asked you to pick up your shitty drawers off the floor 5 times and now you're saying she's nagging you. Like
Well, that comes from like you said, that comes from us. Well, y'all feeling like that comes from us saying that y'all nagging. A lot of times, it's like it's not to me personally. It's not nagging. I told you this. Like I never cut my game off of anybody. I could be in the middle of a game and she said, "Hey, come do this." Excuse me, and I'll cut it off and do it. But a lot of times, I get up and she's doing things. I'm like, "Why you ain't telling me to do it?" Like I don't even say why you ain't asked me to do. I say why you ain't tell me to do it. Like I don't like I don't know. But that's definitely not nagging, ladies. It goes back to that other thing that we was talking about as well, as far as having your own or having criteria or your
our
own
boundaries. Yep.
boundaries. You know what I mean? That's like something that's supposed to happen in a marriage. So you can't. And these same guys that's doing that probably them dudes are saying the 50-50 thing, right? They saying 50-50, but it's just on you paying whatever in the house. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't nothing to do with nothing else. And I'm not saying all men because I know there's men out there that cook, clean, take care of their kids, whatever too, right? But I can guarantee, I would willing to be able to put a check on it, that bet my truck on it, that they dang on most men that's doing that and saying that the 50-50 thing are the same guys that's uh, want the women to do all these things, sexually cook, clean, take care of the kids, and then pay half the bills. As well as when I say pay half the bills, I'm talking about use their money to pay half the bills, as well as with the man's money to pay half the bills. But then they gotta actually pay the bills.
Right.
So you know what I mean? Like it's like, and hey, look, I'll go ahead and tell y'all now, I'm not perfect. I'm not Derek Jackson, not nowhere close. I got a lot of flaws. But the thing about it is, I catch mine or try to catch mine. Uh, and hell, I still don't even. I know this, and I still don't even go all the way. So you can look at me and be like, "Oh, you're talking a good game, not doing." Yeah, I'm doing better. I'm not 100% there, but a lot of that's her fault. That's a whole other story.
Whatever, because that's a lot of stuff that we're working on though, working through. Because I think in that boundary, what you said about setting the boundaries, I think part of that should be because the other aspect of women don't want to ask because they don't want to feel like they're nagging, but then they also sometimes feel like, why should I have to ask for this? Like this should, and I know other women think this because I've heard them say it. And yeah, we can chalk it up to a communication thing, and well, people can't read your mind, but at a certain point, it's like, okay, where then does the respect and love come into play? Because if you see your spouse slaving, doing some stuff, like even domestically around the house, how can you say you love someone and you sit there and watch them do that and not even ask to chip in? Like I couldn't even do that with my mom. Like so then how as a spouse are you seeing your spouse doing that and not even just want to chip in? Like that's not even a natural inclinations just be like, oh, let me get up and help her, or let me get up and help. Like so I'm backtracking and I'm thinking like, yeah, there's certain things that people shouldn't have to ask for. I'm sorry, you just shouldn't, because if you love a person and you respect them and you seeing them do that, you should just want to get up and help. I mean, that's even scripturally. You should be being of a service to someone. You should be. They should. Some things people shouldn't have to ask for, and I think that maybe that's part of the boundary thing. Like people should do in when they start marriages, relationships, um, because apparently, I don't know if that's part of selfishness and what's happened with society, with people just becoming more and more selfish, and
I believe it comes from how people was raised. You have a lot of mama boys out there, like where their moms did everything for them. Uh, or whatever. Like you look at the movies like Baby Boy, and then that other movie that something about the Steve Harvey movie or whatever. Some of those guys that we're speaking about are guys that mother and has done all of this for them, and all of this still at a late age, 20 and 23 and 24 years old. That their mothers are doing all of these things, cooking and cleaning and da 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 da, and even washing clothes. Like I can guarantee, I ain't gonna say guarantee, but a lot of men, I ain't gonna wash clothes until I start driving a truck.
But I'm just saying, like innately though, how is that like?
Because
I can see your
because if you build a habit up, if my routine and my habit is to come in the house and take all my clothes off and leave them at the door, and I've been doing that 25, 30 years, it's gonna take me a minute, I believe anyway, to get out of that habit. So that's and that yeah. So you could be saying, "Hey, like, why would you do that?" Like you said to me earlier today or yesterday, whatever, when we cleaned up the room. I just didn't say nothing because I didn't want to go back and forth with you. It has to make sense, right? So when you say to me, it has to make sense. Well, if I clean up this way, obviously that makes sense to me. Whether it makes sense to you or not, it doesn't make sense to you. I don't think the way you wanted me to do that particular thing made sense to me.
Okay, so please tell me how putting underwear with jeans makes sense.
It ain't never bothered me.
That is, but it does make
it sense. Made sense to me.
Okay,
because
so
I can grab my underwear and my jeans at the same time.
Okay, but I'm saying like even if you're at a job, you will know they don't have to train you about certain things that make sense and stuff at a job. You know, at a job that you don't go and take your laptop and leave it in the bathroom.
Yeah, because you need
to put it up, or that at the end of the workday, just go put your laptop. I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know better than do that. So, like, how would you? There's certain things that should just be common sense.
Well, common sense ain't common all the time.
Okay, but that ain't the point. The point is, I'm saying, like, even if your parents, okay, so even your mother is doing this, I don't understand where I mean, I get what you're saying about people are used to and they're accustomed to something, but I'm just saying, like, it would seem that, well, that's because everything's been perverted. Because I was gonna say, it seemed like you would, if you love and respected a person, I don't care if your mother's telling you, like, I'm gonna wash all your clothes, baby, that's okay. But for someone to never offer and say, well, mom, you ain't gotta wash that, I'll do it, and then mom say, no, I'm gonna do it for you, that's one thing. But you're telling me that, in a sense, no, none of these men or people have ever cared enough about their parents to just be like, hey, let me do that. Like, you don't have to do that for me, mom. Let me do that for you. Like, they've honestly looked at their mother working really hard and just been like, okay, that's cool. Because I don't know how you love a parent and be okay with that. That's what I'm saying. Or how you love anyone and you're okay with that. Like, how do you love a spouse and you're okay with them shouldering all them saying you see them shoulder? Like, there's a difference between saying, like, I don't know how to help and I need her to tell me how I can help her. There's a difference between that and someone just sitting there like, okay, oh well, I'm just gonna continue to play my game while she do that. Yep, she's sweeping around my feet. Like, that's crazy.
Well,
like, I used to have, I can't remember who it was. They was like, well, women shouldn't be mowing the lawn and blah 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 blah. And I don't know how your boys. I said, well, actually, my boys used to ask to mow the lawn that's the time when I was out there mowing it all the time. And then I did tell them, I said, no, that's my time where I kind of, because we had a ride and lawnmower and stuff. And I was like, that's my time where, and even when we had to push one, I was like, that's my time where I get to listen to my music and kind of think, and I'm off by myself. Because to me, mowing lawn is peaceful. To me, it's not work. I don't look at it as work. It's a where I can be outside, be away from everybody, have my earphones on, and just,
you do know as men we hate that, right?
Zone out. But I'm just saying it was zone out. And so people were like, I'm like, no, my kids have asked me, but my thing had been like, no, let me do it because this is what I want to do. But I just can't imagine someone just not even asking to chip in.
Well, again, I say I think it's how people are raised, because you got to understand how you raise your kids. You should see by now that how you guys raise them young men and women are not the typical way people raise kids. The African American community would raise kids. Typical, I said. So that's the thing that I was telling you about too before, about the how you do things and then the my world type of thing. So I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong. I'm just saying that we, for whatever reason, all of that is not taught when you coming from certain situations.
Yeah.
So
So
that's just like I told you about the time my son got into it with that girl. I preached to my son, you will never put your hands on a woman in no type of way unless you trying to save your life or whatever the case is. And that girl kept trying to bully him on the bus, and he picked her up and slammed her.
mhm.
Uh, and I dug in his butt. Well, Dad, she hit me first and did this, that, and third. I don't care, son. You don't put your hands on da da da. Grabbed my son and I walked to these people's house, and I knocked on their door and I spoke to asked for the little girl's mom's or young lady mother, and she came to the door and they was smoking weed, and I was like, yeah, my son wants to apologize. I said, I don't tolerate this type of stuff, yada yada yada, this that third. She's like, oh, that little B always doing stuff and getting into it. She probably deserved it, and was smoking weed and like having a party at 3 o'clock in the evening. Like I ain't judging nobody for smoking weed or whatever you do, but it's just like to have that type of aura or that type of uh, mentality. Like it's like, what do you expect somebody if she had a son, or I don't know if the lady had a son or not, but had a son, like what do you think their son is gonna like learn
Yeah.
value wise? Even use me like I'm adapting. I had to adapt coming, into your world because a lot of things that you did, that was, a great way of doing things. I feel like a kid that I had to learn all of these things, and it probably should have been taught to me earlier, right? So, like I'll give you a prime example. Like we was talking about washing your hands. I'm like, yo, y'all do know it's a bathroom in there. We just had this conversation like 2 days ago. I asked the boys, like, why are you washing your hands in the bathroom? I mean, like you can go wash your hands in the bathroom because I'm in the sink while you washing dishes in the kitchen, whatever. And then her 10-year-old son said to me, or our 10-year-old son, or yeah, whatever. Danny is just, I'm thinking about the other thing. I ain't gonna say that's why it popped in my head. But he said, well, those are what do you say? Those are bathroom germs. Like I'm like, you don't wash your hands in the bath, like, and then it's like, what the hell? But it kind of made sense. Like when you say you got to touch the seat, you got to turn it off. Like, yeah, I get that. So there's germs there. Like those are the average person, and I do to a little bit, to an extent. Think those things are extreme, but when you break it down, like you said, like for instance, like I try not to go when I go in the bathroom now and I wash my hands after I use the bathroom. I don't grab the door handle. I'll use a. It ain't even because of, well, it is a little bit because of COVID, but it's because of Zoranovid too. But I'll grab a paper towel and open the door. And if somebody's coming out, I'll kick the door with my foot because of that. Like I wasn't taught that as a kid. My grandmother told me to. I come in the house, wash your hands before you go in the refrigerator. I go in the bathroom, wash my hands, and go in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
So
And those things, yeah, I understand those things. But again, when we're talking about domestically and share, I just don't understand how you let your spouse, this person is to slave away.
I just watch my grandma do
and be okay. But to that point, so I'm thinking part of the boundaries that people establish should need to be saying what they will and won't ask for. Because, like, again, some certain things you shouldn't have to. I agree, you shouldn't have to ask for. And maybe if that's established up front, people, women in particular, who are the most frustrated, will be less frustrated when that happens. Then the other reason why they said women file for divorce is because women tend to feel more emotional responsibility. And it said that many husbands never learn how to process their emotions or communicate in a healthy way. Men are also far less likely to seek professional help when they need it. They're also far less likely to disclose a mental health problem to friends and family. And by not taking care of their own mental health or working on their communication skills, women find themselves taking on more emotional responsibility. Occasionally, they end up being the only emotional support for the entire family. And that is so true. Like, because of men's unwillingness, most of it a lot of times is unwillingness to even, because if you don't want to go get help, and you know that you have that issue, that's an unwillingness. So a lot of times men unwillingness to be emotionally available and their inability to be emotionally available puts all that emotional burden on their partner, and it takes a toll. And women feel like they are alone, they don't have a support system in their marriage. And again, like, everybody has to come to them for everything as far as emotionally. What do you think?
I just think that well, as far as I, that's a whole other topic for a whole nother day. As far as the health thing, like I don't think that that works for everybody. So
What works for everybody? Getting
if
help?
you're talking about, well, it depends on what type of help
It
you're
just
talking
says
about.
getting help. Period.
Oh, well, it depends on what type of help you're talking about. Some people think that they handle and that's I don't know. Some people think that they handle their because I did it first, and I still do to an extent. But some people think that they handle their whatever mentally thing they have going on pretty well without seeking somebody. But again, one of our other conversations. Well, actually, it was a thing that you had told me about when that lady uh, told her husband that he has to go talk to somebody because it's bothering her. So like when it gets to that level, and that goes back to you being emotionally enough connected with your partner to understand that they're hurting or it's bothering them. So you have to do something different too. So
But then it's also similar to what you said even the other day, because for some reason women hold the role of being the stabilizing factor emotionally within a family, and I don't think their partners realize how much of a burden that is for them. Like yes, they're stabilizing, but to not feel like you have someone that can what do you call it when you have see something stable? Well, if you have a platform or a pole holding something up
to stabilize the stabler.
Yeah, to stabilize the stabler. So like that's all. So then you got women that feel like domestically they're doing more within the household, and then on top of that, so that's physical. That's going to work. That's coming home. That's cleaning. That's organizing. That's figuring out which bills to pay when. That's taking care of the kids. And then on top of that, they also have the emotional burden of everyone that they have to shoulder, which in turn doesn't even give them time to process their own emotions appropriately because they don't have the time to. They don't have the time to say, okay, I need a timeout. Or the minute they feel like they're taking time for themselves, somebody else's problem supersedes there. And so it's like they have to stop. Like it'd be interesting to find out like how many women feel like they have adequate time to even just sometimes just be like, sometimes people say like I didn't even have time to have my own nervous breakdown, because not nervous breakdown in the truest sense of the word, but kind of having this point where you're okay with just breaking down and feeling like discombobulated and taking some time to process those feelings. I don't even think women have adequate enough time to do that, because they'll maybe go into that, but then they ain't even got a day to do that because something happens in family that they got to take care of. It's like, oh well, so and so then this has happened with so and so, so now you got to deal with that. So put your own stuff on pause emotionally so you can help them deal with their things, and that's with the kids and everything. And so the another reason, and then of course the third and final reason that they showed was that women are less tolerant of unacceptable behavior. And I think those all three of things kind of correlate, because I think
they're less tolerable.
Yeah, because historically, remember we was talking about how they said, "Why aren't our parents? Why the marriages aren't lasting like your grandparents?" And people say because grandparents.
Talking about recently,
Yeah, times. This is talking about recently. Women are less tolerant because they don't have to rely on men as much. They making money, their own money. If a woman is shouldering all this responsibility in the household anyway, there's less reason for her to say, "Yeah, I got to put up with all this. I got to put up with him cheating or with him doing this or with blah blah." So some women, and then especially if you just that burnt out, I think women are their tolerance levels shrunk a lot, because if you that burnt out, it's easier for you to just be like, okay, F this, I'm not doing all that. I'm not gonna deal with all that.
I agree with that. I think that because women, I think that if see, and this is, I don't want to put that energy out there, but where guys fall short at, I think that for the most part, women they run circles around men when it comes to intelligence, and that's on. I'm not talking about from an educational standpoint necessarily. I'm just talking about common sense things, because a lot of guys, if I'm going to give the cheater some some free game, and just listening to what you said, I would think that a lot of guys, if they even connect emotionally more with their woman, they can get away with a lot more. Especially if a woman is doing all of this XYZ da 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 da. If you're able to connect or show emotions, you probably, if you still know the guy, you probably can get away with more because that's mainly what those type of women that you're speaking of uh, want from a guy. Yeah, they want the help in all of these other aspects, but like you just said, they can leave and do it all on their own anyway. It's the it's like a person like yourself, which we've said this 1,000 times. Uh, the one thing that I have to offer you that you can't really or you haven't really got into my knowledge like you really needed it was an emotional connection to take the time to thoroughly try to learn you, the essence of you. So with that being said, like it's like, I'm not saying I'm gonna go out here and cheat, but if a guy takes the time to do that, then that probably would help out too, because she'd be more willing to do it like this. If men can tap into that emotional side to connect with their partner, uh, I don't know if it would be as to the extreme, but it's sort of like now you're giving her the things that, you know, before you guys became independent and financially independent and stuff like that and had to depend on man. Now you're giving her something that's rare that most men can't give her. So she may realize that, hey, I can't, it's hard for me to find this because I done been through blah 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 or whatever. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so those were the three.
And I'll have a topic next time. I didn't think we was gonna do this crap. I'm still tired from working out.
Do this crap?
Well, See, this is what I have to go through. I didn't think we were gonna be on here gossiping.
You might gossip every time true. That's why 70% of women initiate divorce.
70% well, you won't be in that 70%. How about that?
I'm gonna be 71%.
Yeah. No, you won't, because you ain't gonna be a percent at all. You leave me. I'm saying it on here. She leave me. No, let me stop playing. Something happened. They find this video and really think they have.
They're using everybody's videos against them these days.
I'm putting cases on all you.
But anyway, that was the interesting part of it. So I don't know. In the world of marriages, we just have to do better. I think people need to be slower to marry, actually, and know what foundation they're setting their marriage up. And I'm not saying, when I say slow to marry, I'm not saying be with somebody for 10 years while they do whatever they're gonna do or anything like that. I'm saying slow as in knowing precisely why you're marrying someone and making sure you have that foundation established, that is established on love and not other stuff. Because at the end of the day, the greatest of all things is love. I mean, that's scripture. So if the greatest of all things is love, then that's the foundation that you need to be building your marriage upon. Anything else is going to be hard to sustain and keep going, because you're going to have all this other stuff that's coming into play. And you're going to have this lopsidedness in the marriage. And even if you have a lopsidedness initially because the person doesn't know any better, if you have a foundation that starts with love, that person is willing to learn what they need to learn in order to make that to get back to equilibrium within the marriage. So,
and what I'll say, the objective is what I said the other day.
To stay married.
Yeah, the objective is not to get married; it's to stay married. You can't do that just rushing into stuff.
Yep. So, anyway, all right, we'll be back. I don't know if we're doing 2 this week or not, because I don't know what he's doing. We got to figure out a regular schedule.
You keep saying that.
So that we can be consistent, because every time I think we have one, then he claims, I don't know we're doing it today. So
no, I don't.
That's what you just did. Did you not just do that? So we're going to come up with a for real schedule that we're going to stick to. I mean, I've talked to him about this several times. But he's like one of those examples of the statistics of the men, and then they keep talking about.
I'm not gonna be in the 30%.
So anyway,
I ain't gonna be in the 30 percentile.
Have a great night to all those Dallas Cowboy fans. I'm sorry your team lost. I'm not a hater like the rest of these people are.
How about them boys?
Good luck to the remaining teams.
Yeah, I don't care about none of that.
I don't care about. I'm not gonna hate anybody's team. I'm just good luck to the remaining teams.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, may the best team win.
Which would be Philly.
And I'm not gonna hate on anybody. Philly. May the best team.
I ain't gonna say I can't stand Philly, but Philly should. It depends on how Mahomes is. Philly should win, but I don't really care about watching the games now.
Anyway, so all right.
Cowboys lost and my Giants are out, so I'm good.
Anyway, but look forward to our schedule that we're gonna post once we get one for sure. So, but anyway,
sooner or later.
Thank you. Have a good night. Y'all see how he did already? He just forgot.
I ain't forget.
Yes, you did. I said thank you, good night, and you sit there on your phone. See, that's what happens. That's what we're gonna talk about. How phones are ruining relationships. We're gonna talk about that because I actually had a relationship with a guy wouldn't allow us to be on our phone whenever we was with somebody. Now he may have an ulterior motive for that, but I think that's a good thing to have, a good boundary to establish when you're on dates and stuff. Like y'all shouldn't be on your phone. But anyway, we'll talk about that next time. Maybe if I remember.
Actually, I'm not kissing her.
Come on. Good night.
I thought you had stopped today.